Okay, ma'am. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to give the seminar on the topics drug distribution, and the topics will start like this: as a definition, description, and then after the drug affecting factor affecting the drug distribution. Like that, we'll discuss today in this meeting. And today I'm going to give the definition on the drug distribution. What is the distribution? It is defined as the process whereby an absorbed chemical moves away from the site of absorption to other areas of the body. Flowing absorptions occurs in the skin, lungs, or the GIT, or systemic administration like in IV, IP, IM into the bloodstream. Drug distributes into the interstitial and the intracellular fluids. Interstitial fluids represent about 15% of the total body weight, and the intracellular fluids, that is the fluid inside the cell, includes about the 40% of the total body weight, and the blood plasma includes about the 8% of the body weight. And here the rate of the delivery and potential amount of the drugs distributed into the tissue depends on the cardiac output, regional blood flow, capillary permeability, and the tissue volume. Yeah, well perfused organs are liver, kidney, brain initially receives most of the drugs. Lesser perfused ones delivery to the muscles, most viscera, skin, and fat is slower. Distribution here that is the significance. Distribution determines the transport of the drugs to their site of action, to other sites, and to the organ of metabolism and excretion. And distribution is not uniform. It differ in the perfusion rates, penetration of the capillary endothelium, and the diffusion across the cell membrane. Volume of distribution is helpful in the context of the drug monitoring. Predicts the whether the practice of drug measurement in blood will have any clinical value. Psychotropic drugs such as the tranquilizers, antidepressants, antipsychotics, mood altering agent, etc. create their effects by binding at the sites within the central nervous system. Volume of distributions is an abstract concept. It gives information on the how the drugs is distributed in the body. It is volume of distribution is used to calculate the loading dose. And here we are going to discuss about the factor affecting the drug distributions. We can also say like the factors determining the distribution or the tissue permeability of the drugs. The factors are the physicochemical properties of the drugs, binding to plasma and tissue protein, blood flow, spatial compartments and barriers, disease states. First one is the physicochemical properties of the drugs. Drugs molecular weight that is less than 500 to 600 daltons easily cross the capillary membrane to penetrate into the extracellular fluids except in the central nervous system, because junction between the capillary endothelial cells are not tight. Passage of the drugs from the extracellular fluids into the cells that depends on the molecular size, degree of ionization, and the lipophilicity. Water soluble molecules and ions of the size below 50 daltons enter the cell through aqueous filled channels, whereas those of the larger size are restricted unless a specialized transport system exists for them. According to the pH partition hypothesis, basic drugs present in the blood, that is slightly alkaline, that is pH 7.4, readily enter into the acidic tissue and fluids, including the intracellular fluid, that is neutral, and concentrate there. Conversely, acidic drugs attain high concentration in the relatively more alkaline body fluids. Example we can take like weak organic bases administered parenterally diffuse passively from the blood, that is the pH 7.4 into rumen fluid pH 5.5 to 6.5, that is the acidic of cattle and the sheep, whereas they become trapped by the ionization. Another example is like similarly weak bases tends to be accumulate in the milk since the pH of the milk is slightly acidic, that is 6.5 to 6.8 to the blood. Here we came to the transportation of the drugs. Drugs are transported in the circulating blood in two forms, that is the free form and bound form. And free forms of the drug usually dissolve in the plasma and is pharmacologically active, diffusible and available for the metabolism and excretion. And the second factor is binding to the plasma protein and binding to the tissue protein. Here we first discuss about the plasma protein. The significance of the plasma protein binding is it affects the distribution, pharmacologically inactive, non-diffusible, non-available for metabolism or excretion, as they cannot pass through the capillaries and cell membrane because of their larger size. Here the plasma protein binding of the drugs is usually reversible. That is, weak chemical bonds is there. Covalent binding of reactive drugs such as the alkylating agents occur occasionally. The binding of individual drugs ranges from very little, that is, it occurs in the drugs like thiophyllene, to very high drugs, that is warfarin. In circulating blood, there is a constant ratio between the bound drugs and free fraction of the drugs. When the concentration of the free drugs, first due to the redistribution, metabolism or excretion, the free and bound ratio is maintained by the dissociation of the bound form of the drugs. Those plasma protein binding mainly serves as a reservoir which supplies the free drugs whenever required. That is, the free drugs may bind to the protein and may form the protein bound drugs, and that is the reversible process. Already in the initial slide I told you. The reversible, that is the reversible binding in the plasma protein. The reversible drugs binding to the albumin, that is the protein, is critical to effective drug distribution. We can compare that one, the plasma protein binding and the tissue protein binding. The both are the reversible, and the yellow arrow is there that shows the reversible binding. The free drugs concentration gradients drives the transport across the membrane. That is, the membrane is there, and that the transfer of the drugs, free drugs, to the protein plasma to tissue, that is the reversible, that is showing through the membrane. A large variety of the drugs ranging from weak acid neutral compound and weak bases binds to plasma protein. And acidic drugs generally bind to the plasma albumin, and basic drugs to alpha-1 acid glycoprotein binding to other plasma protein. Example, we can take lipoproteins, and the globulin occurs to a much smaller extent. Here, different drugs binding to different proteins, like the different drugs binding to the albumin are the bilirubin, bile acids, fatty acid, vitamin C, salicylates, sulfonamides, barbiturates, probenecid, phenylbutazones, penicillin, and the tetracyclines. And the drugs binding to the binding site of the basic drugs, like to the protein globulins, are the adenosine, quinacrine, quinine, streptomycin, chloramphenicol, digitoxin, quabain, and the coumarin. For the majority of the drugs binding to the plasma albumin, that is the molecular weight 65,000, which comprises more than 50% of the total proteins, is quantitatively more important. The binding of the drugs to albumin may show low capacity, one drugs molecule per albumin molecule, or high capacity leads to two or more drugs molecule per albumin molecules. The albumin can bind several compounds having the varied structure, some substances even to a single site. Groups of drugs that binds to the same site compete with each other for binding. Some drugs may bind to blood components other than plasma protein. Example, phenytoin, pentobarbital binds to the hemoglobin. Can you join and pen to bar? And that another is in the binding of the drugs. That is the binding. First we discussed that the plasma protein binding and it is tissue protein binding. And here many drugs accumulate in the tissue at higher concentration than those in the extracellular fluids and blood localization. Tissue binding of drugs, that is cellular constituents, are the protein, phospholipids, or the nuclear proteins, and generally is reversible. For some cases, irreversible. That is the covalent chemical binding. Important in distribution from two viewpoints. That is the firstly is it increases the apparent volume of distribution in contrast to plasma protein binding, which decreases it. Secondly, it results in the localization of the drugs at the specific sites in the body procedure in body produce local toxicity. Example: aminoglycosides, antibiotics, gentamicin, nephro, and the vestibular toxicity. Paracetamol and the chloroform metabolites bind hepatotoxicity. Tetracycline fluoride infants in children during the odontogenesis results in the permanent brown yellow discoloration of the teeth in the infants and children. And the chloropromaz drug displacement interaction. Drug displacement interaction occurs between two or more drugs that binds to same plasma protein site. If one drug is binding to such a site, then administration of second drugs having higher affinity for the same site results in displacement of the first drugs from its binding site. Generally, in many cases, the impact of the interaction is minimal. In some instances, a slight displacement of the drug will result in marked increase in its biological activity. Example, we can take administration of the phenylbutazone to a patient on warfarin therapy, result in displacement of warfarin from its binding site. Warfarin has high plasma protein binding of about 99%, so the small volume of distribution, that is the 1%, remain confined to blood compartment and has a narrow therapeutic index. If just 1% of warfarin displaced by the phenylbutazone, the concentration of the free warfarin will be double. The enhanced concentration of the free warfarin may cause severe hemorrhagic episodes, which may result in the lethality. Fat as a reservoir. Many lipid-soluble drugs are stored by physical solution in the neutral fat. In obese person, the fat content of the body may be as high as 50%, and even in lean individual, it constitutes 10% of the body weight. Hence, fat may serve as a reservoir for the lipid-soluble drugs. Example: the highly lipid-soluble barbiturate, thiopental. In bone, the tetracycline antibiotics and other divalent metal ion chelating agents and heavy metal, that is cadmium, fluoride, lead, or radium, may accumulate in bone and become a reservoir for adsorption onto the bone crystal surface, and eventual incorporation into the crystal lattice causes toxicity. Adsorption process for some drugs shows the therapeutic advantage for the treatment of the osteoporosis. Blood flow and the organ size. The rate of blood flow to tissue capillaries varies wildly as a result of unequal distribution of cardiac output to various organs. The drug distribution to a particular organ or a tissue depends on the size of tissue and the tissue perfusion rate. That is volume of the blood that flows per unit time per unit volume of the tissue. That is the tissue perfusion rate. Highly perfused tissues such as lungs, kidney, liver, heart, adrenals, and the brain are rapidly equilibrated with lipid-soluble drugs. Muscles and skin are moderately perfused, so they equilibrate slowly with the drugs present in blood. That is, muscles tissue binding seems to be linear over a wide range of drug concentration of many drugs. in general, drug binding to different tissue decreases in rank order of like liver, then kidney, then lungs, and then last is muscles. Adipose tissue, bones, and teeth being poorly perfused take longer time to get distributed with the same drugs. And the last one is the disease state of the factor affecting the drug distribution. Distribution of the distribution characteristics of the several drugs are altered in disease state. Example, we can take in meningitis and the encephalitis. The blood-brain barrier becomes more permeable, and the polar antibiotics like penicillin G, which do not normally cross it, again access to the brain. In hypoalbuminemia, plasma protein binding of the drugs may be reduced and high concentration of free drug may be attained. In digestive failure of the soft occur to the entire which affects the distribution of drugs. Now we come to the volume of distribution. Volume of distribution is indicated by the symbol VD. VD means the amount of the fluid in which the administered drug is distributed. Like here in the figure, it's taken like 1 mg per liter, or you can say it as the 100 mg per 100 liter. Means per 100 liter, if you the distribution of the drugs takes place. Here the volume of distribution, also known as the apparent volume of distribution, is used to quantify the distribution of the drug between the plasma and the rest of the body after oral or parenteral dosing. It is also called as the apparent. It is also called as the apparent volume because all parts of the body equilibrated with the drugs do not have equal concentration. The mathematical expression of the volume of distribution is given as like VD equal to dose of drug given, that is denoted by Q, to the concentration of the drugs in plasma, that is denoted by Cp. And so if dose given is 100 mg, dose given, that is the denominator, and the concentration of the drugs in plasma, that is the Cp, is 1 mg per liter, then the Cp, that is the Cp in plasma concentration, then the VD is calculated as the dose by Cp, and VD equal to, that is the dose of the drugs given, that is 100 upon that Cp, that is the plasma concentration by 1, is equal to 100 liter. That is the volume of distribution of the drugs is 100 liter, is done in 100 liter according to this mathematical expression. By this, I have finished my seminar. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, Sukhdev, for the good seminar. We will just recap the slides once again. So we discussed about drug distribution in this part. And drug distribution has important, it is very significant because the way the drugs are bound to the proteins determines whether there is free drug available for action. So basically, whatever drug you are giving as a dose, maybe oral dosing, parenteral dosing, it has to pass. If it is oral, of course, it has to pass through GIT into the blood. And if it is parenteral, etc., it is IV, IPIM into the bloodstream. It goes into the bloodstream. Yeah, it goes into the bloodstream, and what happens? It from there, from the capillary wall, it has to cross into the interstitial fluid and go into the extracellular fluid, and then go into the intracellular fluid. So then only, so you can see interstitial fluid is around 15% of the body weight, intracellular fluid is 40% of the body weight, and blood plasma is 8% of the body weight. And we discussed many classes previously also about pharmacokinetics, about the well perfused organs like the liver, kidney, brain. They receive most of the drug, while the lower organs with lower blood supply are the muscles, viscera, skin, adipose tissue, all those. And so usually distribution determines the transport of drug to the site of action, to other sites and organs of metabolism. So VD is an important pharmacokinetic parameter we discussed previously also. So it whether the practice of drug that measurement in the blood will have any clinical value, you can it will be helpful, especially in drug monitoring, to know what is the volume of distribution. In the last slide, you have seen about the volume of distribution. Whatever dose you give divided by the concentration that the drug has achieved in the plasma. If you divide the two, dose in the numerator, concentration in the denominator, you can find the value of the VD. Each drug, all drugs will not have same VD. Each drugs will have different manner of distribution. So that is important in determining the activity of the drug. Okay, then we also discussed about, see, from the, if you, VD will tell us how the drug is distributed in the body and also helps us to calculate the loading dose. If you know what is the VD and what is the plasma concentration, you can find the loading dose. Or if you know the dose by the plasma concentration, you can know the VD. And there are different factors determining the distribution or tissue permeability of the drug, especially the binding of the drug to the plasma and tissue proteins, blood flow, special compartments, barriers, disease state. All these affect the distribution. So you will know that if the drugs which are having lower molecular weight, like less than 500 or 600 Dalton, it can easily cross the capillary membrane. So we know how the drug is distributed. It is going from blood through the capillary membrane into the extracellular fluid. From there, it is going into the intracellular fluid. So it depends on the molecular size, degree of ionization, lipophilicity. You know, lipophilic unionized drugs can easily pass through. So if the ions have size of around 50 Daltons, it can pass through the pores also. And also similarly, basic drugs will enter easily into acidic tissues and including the intracellular fluids, and it will concentrate there. We know most of the drugs are weak acids or weak bases. So depending on their pH, according to the pH partition hypothesis, the drug distribution happens. Similarly, acidic drugs will attain higher concentration in the alkaline body fluids. So we can find out where the drug will be more concentrated. If it is an acidic drug, naturally it will concentrate in the alkaline body fluids. If it is a basic drug, it will concentrate in the acidic fluids. So also the free and bound form, unbound and bound form of the drug is there. What is the bound form of the drug? If the drug is bound to the plasma of protein. We know that only the free form of the drug can exert its pharmacological action. So this, what is that? Plasma protein binding is significant because it affects the distribution. Whichever drug is bound to the plasma, it is not available for action. But at the same time, if the plasma will slowly release the protein, naturally the drug concentration will also increase. So the bound drug will be pharmacologically inactive, and only the free drug, and also the bound drug cannot pass through the capillaries because of the large size. It binds with albumin, globulin. So usually the binding is reversible reaction. By means of covalent bonds, the drugs bind you, and there is significance, especially, so always in the body there is a ratio between the free and bound drug, which is maintained by the dissociation of the bound form of the drug. So you can see there is the protein bound drug. From that, whichever is releasing will be the free drug. Whatever free drug binds with the protein will stay in the bound form. Now only the free drug can exert its action. And the free drug concentration gradient drives the transport of the drug across the membrane. So what are the proteins? We know the drugs generally bind to albumin. Acidic drugs will bind to albumin. Albumin is the human serum. Albumin is the most common protein found in the human body, and basic drugs will bind to the glycoproteins and lipoproteins, globulins also may occur. So here the list is kind of drugs, acidic drugs such as the salicylates, sulfonamides, barbiturates, penicillins, phenylbutazone, all these bind to albumin, while the basic drugs bind to the globulin. So also the drug may bind to the tissues and cause localized action. So important in distribution, with what is important, this kind of binding to tissue proteins is important because it increases the apparent volume of distribution if it binds to the tissues. On the other hand, if the drug is binding to the plasma, what is happening? It is giving a low VD because the bound drug is bound with the protein while the free drug alone exerts its action. On the other hand, if the drug is bound to tissues, it gives high VD. You have to note that point. High volume of distribution in case of tissue bound drug. So one more significance of protein of this kind of binding of drugs is it can lead to toxicity sometimes. For example, you can see here one classic example is when you co-administer, when a patient is undergoing a warfarin therapy. Warfarin is an anticoagulant drug, you know that. So when you administer phenylbutazone, what happens? Now this warfarin gets displaced from its binding site. There is some kind of competitive so phenylbutazone goes and binds to the binding site and releases the warfarin. This can be deleterious. It can have a detrimental effect because usually what happens is warfarin is a highly protein bound drug. 99% of the warfarin is remaining bound to the protein and only 1% remains as the free drug. Now if this 1%, if the warfarin is displaced by phenylbutazone, just 1% if it is displaced, now one more person goes into the as the free drug concentration. So the free drug or free warfarin concentration becomes 2%. That means the effect concentration is doubled. Now this kind of doubling of warfarin concentration can result in more anticoagulant effect, leading to severe hemorrhagic episodes, which may result in lethality. It can be dangerous. Another thing is some of the drugs they get, see for example, this highly lipid soluble barbiturate, thiopental. They are stored in the fat. So obese persons will have higher fat content naturally, so up to 50%. So such kind of highly lipid soluble drugs can get stored. Similarly, in the bone, you can see that tetracycline antibiotics are stored, and it you can see sometimes yellowing of the teeth is seen in such cases. So can lead to toxicity. So these are some of the effects of the binding of drugs to protein and tissues, and disease states can also lead to alteration in the distribution characteristics of the drugs. For example, in meningitis and encephalitis, the blood-brain barrier becomes more permeable. You know, the blood-brain barrier does not allow most of the drugs to pass into into it. But in case of diseases like meningitis, encephalitis, the blood-brain barrier becomes more permeable. So polar antibiotics like penicillin G, which do not normally cross it, can gain access into the brain. In hypoalbuminemia, what happens? Hypoalbuminemia, plasma protein binding of the drugs get reduced. So there may be higher concentration of the drugs. The free drugs may be more in the blood. Okay, then one more concept discussed was the volume of distribution, which is the amount of fluid in which the drug is distributed. For example, you are adding 100 milligram of drug into 100 liters. So naturally, so you know the formula also for volume of distribution. The amount dose given, that is 100 divided by the concentration. So you can, otherwise in simple mathematics also, 100 milligram in 100 liters means 1 milligram per liter. So that you can easily find the plasma drug concentration. If you know the volume of distribution and dose given, you can find plasma drug concentration. They are related by the equation Vd equals X or Q by C. Amount or dose given divided by the plasma drug concentration. Okay, so that's about the binding of drugs to proteins.